Welcome back to the Five Star Moms channel. How have you been? Today's episode we're going to be talking about breastfeeding versus formula feeding. I'm sure some of you have been looking forward to this particular topic, and let's dive right into it. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is the natural way, guys. The truth is, it's we were born with breasts as women, and it's just natural to want to breastfeed. And one of the things that breastfeeding does for our babies is that the nutritional value that it has, or more immune system of the child is built. It does a lot of work. So why not breast milk, right? Okay. Let's talk about the fact that it is cheap, because breast milk comes out freely once you give birth to your baby. I mean, it's one of the things that you want to look towards doing, because it's cheap, it's readily available for most women, and you just want to breastfeed because there's a way it causes an attachment to your child, right? So one of the things that we always like to do is to breastfeed. It just causes a form of attachment. There's a bond, there's a bonding with your baby, there's the immune support, there's that free part. Breast milk is one of the free things. No matter how hard an economy of a country can be, especially Nigeria of today, you will breastfeed because it comes freely. Whether or not the mother eats as much as she would lactate. As long as she's drinking a lot of water, she's definitely going to lactate. That does not guarantee that the breast milk is going to be as as nutritious as it should be, but she will definitely going to lactate. Okay. Another benefit is also it benefits the mom also. She The rate of cancer will reduce drastically, and she's able to recover quickly from childbirth just because she's breastfeeding. Now let's talk about the things that make breastfeeding quite difficult, or that makes it feel like breastfeeding would not be an option for a mom. Okay, let's talk about the pain. Okay, breastfeeding is not always painless. It sometimes could be painful, and I'm sure that you have experienced, especially the first few weeks of breastfeeding, the nipples hurt a lot. Let's not lie. So that part is also there. There's a part of time and frequency, depending on how often your baby eats, how well your baby feeds. You're supposed to be snap of the finger. If your baby cries, you are there. If your baby is uncomfortable, you are there. So you can't predict a timing to it. Yes, your nurse would say, okay, every 2 hours, every 2.5 hours, some babies every 3 hours, but that is not stable. So today it could be every 2 hours, tomorrow it could be every 3 hours. And if you're a working mom, it is really, really difficult for you to say put time into breastfeeding. And your diet and your lifestyle is actually very restricted, right? So because you are breastfeeding, what you take in would go into your breast milk, and you do not want to take something that would harm the baby through the breast milk, which might be beneficial for you, but because you have to consider your baby, so there's this restriction it puts on you. If you used to be a drinker before you got pregnant, or if you were drinking during pregnancy, which I hope you were not, there's a tendency for you not to want to pollute the baby's breast milk if you would like to go the breastfeeding route. So if you were a drinker, you should consider stopping that. It's not good habit. One of the things it's talking about work and schedule. If you're a working mom, the frequency with which your child will need to breastfeed. Okay, let's also talk about formula. One of the benefits of formula feeding, it is very convenient. Anybody can do that. You remember in the episode where we spoke about mommy versus nanny, and I said a nanny can breastfeed your child, but a nanny can definitely feed your child with formula, feed your baby with formula. That comes in really handy. So all you just need to do is make sure that the formula, your baby is not allergic to the formula, and you say, okay, this is the amount of warm water, this is the age of the baby, this is the formula that will be able to digest the baby system, right? Aside convenient, it's very flexible, so you can do formula, and because it's formula, it has a tendency to feed the baby for a longer period of time. So if you could breastfeed say every 2 hours. You could give formula every 3 hours because the baby will get fuller faster. And yeah, so there's some form of freedom to it, in the sense that you are not tied to a place. Anybody can do the feeding on your behalf. Okay. And medical needs, okay, some cases breastfeeding is not even an option, so formula, it just works, it really works for the baby. It has its own challenges, and the challenges are the fact that it doesn't fight immune system unlike breast milk, right? So the amount of breast milk your child would take, and you are sure that your baby is safe from whatever virus or bacteria around in the environment, formula wouldn't do that to safeguard your baby. It is very expensive, let's not lie. Okay, maybe not very expensive, but way more expensive than breast milk. Breast milk is free, formula is not free, and you can't restrain your baby from taking. So your baby could finish a can of formula in 3 days. You can't stop the baby. The baby has to eat, especially if you are doing formula feeding alone. So yeah. Preparation, okay. Some formulas are restrictive in preparation. Sometimes the water has to be a particular temperature, it has to be really hot, those, they are minute things, but it could pose as a challenge. Lack of antibodies, yeah, I've said so earlier, it doesn't support the immune system of the baby as breast milk would. Digestive issues, sometimes the formulas are not digestible by the baby, so it could be a challenge. You could have your baby pass feces as tiny pellets, and you are seeing the formula in the baby's poo, and you are bothered. You shouldn't be bothered, it just means that the baby is not able to digest that particular formula, so you might tend to try another brand. So really, there's no hard and fast rule. What works for me will not work for you, so stick to what will work for you. For instance, if you're a working mom and you try to pump some breast milk and you put it in a pack and you store in the fridge, what if the breast milk gets exhausted before you get back from work? Let your baby take formula. So there is no rule. Make sure whatever you decide works for you and it works for your baby. So don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share to this channel till I come your way again next week. Bye bye.